Every time I get this gentleman on the phone, he would tell me every nigger joke, every Jew joke, every spick joke in the world. And then he'd turn around and say, well, buy me 50,000 shares or whatever you call me about, Clay. Okay. Do the math with me. 50,000 shares, 50 cent a share commission, that is $25,000. And you know what? For 25 grand, I'm going to laugh at your nigger job. I used to laugh like Sammy Davis Jr.
Oh boy.
And the lesson was, sometimes it's okay to laugh all the way to the bank. This goes on my first year at the firm. And one day I get this phone call. Chris, I like to know people I do business with. I'm going to come meet you. Now I try to discourage that kind of thing. You know? I got research to do. I got to talk to analysts. I ain't got time for no whole bunch of meetings. But we all know you're going to get to a point in a relationship, business or personal, that whatever it is, you got to deal with it. I said, fine, come on up. In preparation for this meeting, I am real clear. Keep the focus on performance, added value, and the wealth you created in the portfolio. That's all you got to talk about. I developed this little chant, and I kept saying it over and over to myself then. I still say it to this day. It's not a black thing, it's not a white thing, it's a green thing. I say it to this day. And in preparation, we sit down. The first thing that happens is, well, my old boss at Bear, he had a huge job. He had a huge job, he had a huge ego, and he had an even bigger office. He had a great, big, beautiful corner office. And he traveled a lot. And he was out of town. And you know I did. I did what anybody from Zango would have done. I improvised. Okay? I went over there, I took his name tag down, and I put mine up. I took the picture of these cute little white boys, I put them in the drawer. I sent a buddy of mine out to get the cowboy. He came in, I stuck out my hand, and you can see all the blood just drain from his throat. Just think about all them jokes he told me. We sit down, we review the account. Every position in the portfolio is up huge. I close the folder, I look the man in the eye, and I say, it's not a black thing, it's not a white thing, it's a gray thing. He looks me in the eye and says, son, you know what? You're right. He closed accounts on the spot at Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, and Solomon Brothers. I did all his business till the day he died, and he stopped telling me them damn nigger jokes. Then he started telling me knock-knock jokes. Let me put this all in perspective, if I can. Man, this movie, who knew? Sony tells me 1 billion people around the world saw Pursuit of Happyness. Who knew? Who knew? No one ever imagined. The book, Pursuit of Happyness, 25 weeks on the New York Times bestsellers list, 9 weeks at #1, translated into 22 languages, made bestsellers list in 6 countries. Wow. Who knew? One person knew. One person knew, and that one person was Dr. Maya Angelou. And she told me from the very beginning, you know what, son? This ain't even about you. This is the story of every father who ever had to be a mother, every mother who ever had to be a father, and everybody who ever had a dream and would not quit. This ain't even about you. And when Dr. Angelou puts something to you like that, there's only one thing for you to say. Yes, ma'am. Movie, great. Book, great. Business, great. But the most important thing I've ever done in my life is to have broken the cycle of men who are not there for their children. That is absolutely the most important thing I've done in finally gets it. The most important thing about being a man is being responsible. My daughter understands how a man should treat her, respect her, and deal with her. And because of those two folks, I'm going to have influence on generations of my offspring that I probably will never meet. I probably won't be here to meet my great-grandchildren. I probably won't be here to meet my great-grandchildren. And I'm going to say this. It's taken me some time to get used to saying it. But you know what? About 18 months ago, I did meet my first grandchild. And let me tell you something. Man, whoa, let me tell you something. When that first grandbaby comes, that changes everything. The first thing that changes is your child becomes obsolete. Somebody know what I'm talking about. Anytime my son shows up without my granddaughter, I look at him like he owed me money. The other thing that happens, have you been blessed to live long enough to see that first grandbaby? You accept that there have been more yesterdays than there will be tomorrows. And when you get to that point, you accept that there's more that unites us than there is that separates us. Somebody in here made a similar decision. Somebody in here knows what I'm talking about when I speak of breaking these cycles. Somebody else in this room made a decision that whatever was an issue, a challenge, or a problem for me is not going to become generational and get passed on to my children. Somebody else in this room made the same decision. The last thing I'm going to say up here is this. After you sell $400 million worth of tickets to a film, you create something called a franchise. There will be a sequel, and I will see y'all at the movies. Thank you so much for having me here. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Django. My brother, hold on a second. Thank you, for real. I'll sign it for you. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much for having me. God bless you.